Harsha and Harti, insist your friends to attend PDD class. If they are not attending daily, I have to call to their parents. Let it be you belongs to any mentor. That's not my problem. Regarding product design and development, I need students to be in the link. They have to learn some information. They have to improve their life. That's it. Okay, so I can take step for that. Giving a call, Panda, it's my duty, right? So see that they are all attending the class. If not, this step will be taken. I have to call to their parents directly. 52 members have joined. Okay. Now we are just going to recap whatever we have covered last class. And from beginning, what are the data we have covered in Unit 1 introduction part. I'm not going to again revise the concept in depth, just the side heading so that you will make use of the session well. Can you see the information what I'm displaying you? Please reply yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good. So yesterday we have completed establishing target specifications. Very simple subheading topics and concepts. There are 4 steps involved: how to prepare the list of metrics, collect the competitive benchmarking information, set the ideal and marginal acceptable target values, reflect on the result and the process. Then we have discussed related with how to set the final specifications. Few informations are discussed, and in that setting of final specification we have 5 steps process. So கிட்டத்தட்ட எப்படின்னா, after identifying the customer need, then we move on establishing the target specification. After establishing the target specification, we have a trade-off between the customer. We get the data for that. Then we move on concept generations. If the concept along with the specification is being selected, there are many concepts will be, that is called as concept generations. We get 8 to 20 concepts. Then we go for the next part of process, concept selection. The concept idea, the specification mentioned, the technology used, everything will be analyzed. Then only we finalize this is the best concept. So selections process will be happening. After selecting, we test those test cases. We test that specifications. We test with the customer needs. Then we move on to the setting the final specifications. So when we come to setting the final specification, we have to understand that little bit we are forming a model. Like we create a technical model of the product, which is given the primary key factor by the customer need, that is focused, and we develop the technical model of the product in this stage. Then in the technical model, whatever components or parts are being used, those costs has been estimated here. The best vendors are selected. The cost is framed. Estimation of cost is framed for that particular model. Then refine the specification. Suppose something can be changeover, or 2 or 3 specifications which is not mentioned by the customer need have been included. That all we have to now trade off with the customer. We have to explain because they are going to pay for the product, right? So we have to make the customer understand why we have included 2 or 3 specifications, which gives a standard for the quality of the product. All those things happens in this setting the final specification part. Flow down the specification as appropriate. Till establishing the target specification, we are just analyzing the data. We are forming a list of metrics with customer needs. Then for that customer need, we do a mapping. We check with some guidelines whether we have properly framed the list of metrics. All those things happen there, establishing target specification. But here we appropriate. For this need, this specification, metrics is needed for that particular value. In the establishing final specification, target specification, we focus on ideal and marginal value, but here we appropriate the value to the ideal value fixed here. So reflects on the results and process. We have to do the iterations many times and finalize the final specification, setting the final specification. So those things are explained in these points which we have discussed last time. For developing any technical model for your product under the setting of final specification, we have to focus on some tools for predicting the values. Okay, we have to depend on some CAD tools. Okay, we implement or metrics whatever we have formed in establishing the target specifications or implemented in a particular technical model inside a product. For example, ஒரு vacuum cleaner ஓட main functionality மட்டும் focus பண்ணி நம்ம அதை run பண்ணி பார்க்கிறது. Okay, a tool for predicting the values of the metrics for a particular set of design decisions are made in this step 1. Then we have to analyze model equations in a spreadsheet, put a tabular column, analyze those things, whether the customer need value has been satisfied here after running that particular technical model of the product. Predict rapidly what type of performance can be expected for a particular choice of design variables. There are a lot of variables available for a design, right? For the main primary key factors, we have to run and see and find out its performance. Analytical model will be available for only a small subset of the metrics. So here, this step 1 involves full and full technical knowledge of an engineer. So the team was able to model attenuations analytically based on the engineer's knowledge of dynamic system. So to run a model, to run a product is not an easy way. Okay, we have to include the list of metrics whatever we have framed in establishing the target specification in a real time, in a dynamic run of a system. And what is that particular system we are running in this step 1? Only the technical model of the product. What are the main functionality that alone is being run and signed. So full and full engineering knowledge of dynamic systems are implemented in this step 1. Step 2, as we have using some component for building the technical model, the cost model of the product will be analyzed here. So the goal of the step of process is to make sure that the product can be produced at a target cost. So we are forming a quality technical model in step 1, where we can frame a target cost here. In step 2, we can analyze the manufacturing cost for that particular product in this stage. Adequate profit, what we'll get when we complete the product. Everything is being analyzed in this step. So develop a cost model of the product is the focus of step 2, which comes under what heading? Setting the final specification. So we will know offering the product to the end customer at a competitive price. If you want to explain about the product cost to the customer, you have to analyze more things. Make sure that the product can be produced at the target cost. If you are using the technology, if you are using a standard parts for your product, then automatically you can fix the target cost now itself. Target cost is nothing but the manufacturing cost. To develop the whole setup of the product, whatever components, what are the fabrication have to be performed to integrate 2 or 3 parts, and what is the primary key factors mentioned by the customer needs, whether it is working in a standard way, all those things are analyzed. And who are the best vendors, we get the knowledge of the cost for each and every part. Then we finalize the cost model of the product here. Mainly developing a cost model of the product. Finalize பண்றது கூட கிடையாது. Just we put the estimations here. Manufacturing cost at which a company and its distribution partners can make adequate profit. Try to understand, only in step 1 we are fully dealing with technical model of the product. So the partners will come to know what will be the real running of a product in the step 1. Accordingly, we can frame the manufacturing cost. And this is being gathered, and these informations are passed to the distributed partners of that organization, whereas adequate profit will be gained or not will be analyzed in this step. Still offering the product to end customer at a competitive price. We have to pass the details to the customer. This is the competitive price we fixed for the technical model what we have framed in step 1. So this is the development stage of cost model of the product here, step 2. For most of the product we are creating in an organization, is by drafting a bill of materials. Correct? So இது வரைக்கும் பண்ண process பார்த்தா understanding the customer need, then we are estimating the target specification, then we move on concept generation. Once the concept are generated, those concepts, 5 or 6 concepts are generated, that has been selected in selection process. Then we move with the target specification along with the concept. Okay, so here in setting the final specification, step 2, in developing the cost model of the product, here full deals with drafting a bill of materials. So ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு இந்த ஸ்பெசிஃபிகேஷன்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ண போறோம், இந்த மெட்ரிக்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ண போறோம், இந்த வேல்யூஸ் யூஸ் பண்ண போறோம். ஸோ we have to form a as here we have seen manufacturing cost. So we have to draft a bill of materials. So list of all parts are being mentioned in this step. Purchase price, fabrication cost, that only I have told already. What are the parts we are going to use for our product? What are the fabrication thing we have to implement? Those costs also have to be counted here. எதுக்கு இதெல்லாம் இந்த டீடைல்ஸ்லாம் நம்ம இந்த ஸ்டெப்ல கலெக்ட் பண்றோம்? Because we have to explain to the customer that these are the parts made use for the product. So we need to put the cost price here to get the amount from the customer to start developing our product. So more details have to be collected. At this point in the development process, the team does not generally know all the components that will be in the product, but the team nevertheless make an attempt to list the component it expert will be required. From the details of establishing the target specification and the concept have been selected, from that approximately they can form the components what are all going to be used in a product. We can't say this only, maybe additionally can be included, but we can put a list of components with expert will be required. What are the primary key components have to be started at the beginning of the product? Those details are collected, and cost of components are framed in this stage. Any in the overhead பத்தில நம்ம இன்னும் டெப்தா படிப்போம். So effort to develop these is yearly cost estimations involves soliciting cost estimates from vendors and estimating the production cost of the component the firm will make it. In this stage, they choose the vendors, that will be 5 or 4 vendors, but who are the best vendors who give the supply, who supply the products on time. ஏன்னா இந்த பர்சன்ஸ்லாம் ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட், because customer has given us the deadline when you have to create the product and complete and give to them. So ஒரு deadline போட்டிருப்பாங்க. There are a lot of vendors available in the environment, so organization have to choose the best vendors who will supply the product parts on time, so that there will not be any delay in delivering the product to the customer. So the efforts to develop these early cost estimations involves holistic cost estimate from vendors and estimating the production cost of the component. So this process is often facilitated by purchasing experts. So the vendors who are giving us standard parts, purchasing expert we have to choose, and the production engineers. No. This is the meaning is this process is often facilitated. Step 2, like developing a cost model of the product, is fully dealing by the persons in the organization. They are called as purchasing expert and production engineer. So there are some roles given to each and every member in the team, right? Like that, purchasing expert will be available in the organization as well as production engineers. They both only do this analysis part and do the process under step 2. Any doubt you have till now? Yes or no? Yes, students, please reply. So try to understand the flow. Setting the final specification involves 5 steps. Whatever metric and the list of metrics we have in our hand after we are doing the process of estimating the target specifications, now we have to focus on designing the protocol, designing the technical model of the product, using some tools. When you start developing those technical model along with the engineer's knowledge, Here in this step, we form some dynamic system, run some analytical model from the product concept. Then we start estimating how much of cost can be put for the product with these details collected in this step. The two persons who facilitate this step: purchasing expert who fully deals with the vendors, the suppliers for the organization to start creating the product. What are the parts needed? This purchasing expert will find out. Production engineers will see for that particular part whether the production unit or manufacturing unit has that facility. Tools available irka, equipment available irka. Those things also will be parallelly checked. So under step 2, you have to understand, you have to mainly focus on developing the cost model of the product. It can be in both by the vendor's point of view as well as for the organization point of view, whether every facility is available. All the details are collected in this stage. Any doubt? Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. கொஞ்சம் வேகா இருக்கும். Okay, you need not remember all the points. That is impossible to implement all the points if you are writing the exam in physical mode. Kindly understand the concept, understand the main heading and the subheading. Don't change the subheadings which comes in other topic. That you should be very much conscious. Very important key points you have to remember. You can make your own sentence. Key points is very important. Step 3, which comes under setting the final specification. You have to refine the specification, making trade-off where necessary. What I have already told. If you are making use of some extra equipment to build or integrate any of the product for your process, okay, product process, that the customer need not know. So you have to explain the customer why we have put this cost extra, because we have introduced a new equipment. As you have told in your need, it should be integrated one. So this all happens in this step 3. So finalizing the specification can be accomplished in a group sessions in which feasible combination of values are determined through the use of technical model. So in our technical model of the product, we have used this combinations, we have used some values, and the cost implication are explored here. Those explanation have to be given to the customer. Trade-off means compromising them. It's an iterative fashion. Repeatedly, we have to check with the values. Repeatedly, we have to go for the vendor's point of view when they give us parts for our product to develop in this stage, right? We collect all this information, right? So if suppose any of the vendors have to be changed, if they're not that much flexible for giving the product on time, parts on time, then some changeover will happen. That's why they have told in step 3, there will be the case of refining the specifications, making trade-off where necessary within the vendors or within the customer to the business people. Compromisations will be leading. So in an iterative fashion, the team conveys on the specification that will most favorably position the product relative to the competition, will best satisfy the customer need, and will ensure adequate profit. If any of the customer came to understand that the organization is taking some more effort for giving the standard product, then automatically the customer needs will be satisfied till more. That's the point. So in the step 3, one important tool for supporting the decision making process is the competitive map. I'll show about one example. What is competitive map? To make the trade-off to the customer in this stage, step 3, which we say refining the specifications and making trade-off where necessary. In this stage, we will form a competitive map. So competitive mapping analysis, we say visual representation to the customer. telling about how we have analyzed with the other organizational competitive products with the our current products. So competition mapping is a helpful tool when companies are launching a new product or services. If you are owning a company, you are introducing any of the new product. In this stage, step 3, setting the final specification, you have to form a competitive mapping to make a trade-off to the customer. ஏன்னா கஸ்டமர் வந்து நீங்க வேர்ட்ஸா எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணா they would have not be satisfied. You can give more data regarding the competitive products comparing with your new product. But still more understandable if you go for, you can produce this competition mapping in the step 3 and explain to the customer which this competition mapping acts as a helping tool when companies are launching a new product or services. So business can also use it when creating a new marketing or social media strategy. For example, if you see one particular competitive map, okay, this particular product or service like home cooking delivery, there are a lot of companies involved. They put a competitive mapping, highly living culinary experience, user selection, fully automated. You can also form a for electricity competitive mapping for product laptop also you can say. Yes. See, under here, we say this competitive map as perceptual map of laptop. If you want to compare and say with the other competitive company to the customer, you have to frame this competitive mapping. See here a lot of companies involved which produce laptops: Lenovo, Toshiba, Sony, Apple, Asus, Dell, Hacker. They compare like this: long durations and low cost. Lenovo, similarly, long durations and price is high in this companies. That they compare. Short, high price. Again, low price and short durations. A lot of comparisons with the other companies. This is the visual representation which the organization can frame in step 3 and tell to the customer, explain to the customer in a better way. Okay, it's an important tool to supporting this decisions. When you show this comparison to the customer, then automatically they can decide, okay, they're building a new product of our company. Okay, they can accept the fact that we are comparing with the competitive products. As you all know, competitive products is one of the ongoing activities. Okay, those details have to be parallelly checked when we go for each and every step of development. Step 4, flow down the specification as appropriate. So when you consider highly complex products are subdivided into multiple subsystems. And those subsystems works with multiple development teams. So overall challenge we face when we consider highly complex product, we have to frame overall specifications to specification for subsystems. Then flow down process is to ensure that subsystem specification is fact reflect the overall product specifications. For example, in a mining process or any other large area project where machines will be large. The machines oda specifications mention பண்ணனா the complex products have to be subdivided. ஒரு மைனிங்க்கு யூஸ் பண்ற ஒரு large product means just imagine product large scale productions. So like this, you have to imagine for developing a particular product. So the equipment, like a large equipment, is acting as a product. So in that case, see, large scale productions of PO that have to be subdivided. For subsystems, we have to work. There is a separate team. So each and every subsystems, there are many specifications. Then we have to find out the overall specifications for it. So these are the large product. So இது ஃபுல்லாவே ஒரு large scale industries where for each and every run up of these are said to be subsystem, then only overall product result can be made. Okay, large scale product ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Each and every products are subdivided, and for each and every equipment there are many specifications available. So it's a big challenge for the company when they deal with these type of complex product. One challenge is the flow down process to ensure that subsystem specifications in fact reflect the overall product specifications. Second challenge, what they feel, certain specifications for different subsystems are equally difficult to meet. We have to analyze each and every subsystem with the values, metrics, list of metrics have to be framed. நான் நேற்று சொன்னது வந்து ஜஸ்ட் சஸ்பென்ஷன் யூனிட் ஃபார் அ மவுண்டெயின் பைக். இது ஒரே ஒரு பார்ட்டுக்கே நம்ம அவ்வளவு லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் மெட்ரிக்ஸ் நம்ம வந்து மென்ஷன் பண்றோம் இல்லையா, அலாங் வித் த கஸ்டமர் நீட். தென் ஜஸ்ட் இமேஜின் ஃபார் அ காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் ப்ராடக்ட். There will be subsystem. In the subsystem, small parts functionality will be for that. We put a list of metrics, then overall metrics for the subsystem, then combine all the subsystem to form the large scale production specifications. So it's a overall component specification can be established through budget allocation. So through budget process only you can appropriate the value for the product. Okay, so flow down the specification as appropriate. Step 5, reflect on the result and the process. Till now, whatever analysis we have done, if it is a complex product or a normal product, with the specifications, with the outcome, we have to ask some few questions. So till now, whatever final specifications we have in our hand, with the analysis of it and the cost estimated for the product in step 2. Okay, developing the cost product we have seen, right? All those details are over. We came to the step 5 process. We have a result of our product now. In knowing that result, you have to raise some few questions and ask, is the product a winner? Will the product will the target market? Team to actually set the specifications. The product concept should allow the team to set actually set the specifications so that the product will meet the customer need and excel competitively. So we have to find answer for this question. Then we can understand that really the end product will be the perfect product. If not, if you find any drawback, for example, if you consider a large product where subsystem specifications are not mentioned properly, or the budget allocation is not proper, okay, you can't find a product to be in a winner stage. And suppose any of the drawback in step, like technical model is not running properly, it's not satisfied by the customer, cost model of the product is not acceptable by the customer, you don't have the proper vendors to supply the equipment, any of the drawback if you have felt, then If you're not able to trade off to the customer, customer is not satisfied with your specifications, your final specifications becomes wrong to the customer. Okay, if after even framing the competitive map, they are not comfortable with the specifications what you have finalized, you can't give a proper approximation value to the customer need, then we say the team should return to the concept generation again, selection phase, and abandon the project. We have to just quit the project. So see to that how carefully we have to do each and every step involved in setting the final specification. Got the point, students? Kindly reply. Please reply.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, each and every point steps is more important. We have to dedicatedly work for developing the technical model or cost estimation if you want to analyze the vendor you're choosing for developing the parts of the product. Many details are involved in each and every step. After refining trade-off to the customer, then creating the competitive map to explain the customer, then flow down the specification. Why we have to go for flow down? When you deal with the complex large scale production, there should be divided into subsystems. Each and every subsystem will have some specification. Overall specification have to be gathered. We have to test with many test cases, finalize the appropriate value. Then reflect on the result. If all the steps involved are perfect, there's no drawback, then we can say the product will be in a winner stage. If any one has been not fulfilled properly, then automatically we have to quit the concept. Which even other நிறைய பேர் நீங்க கம்பெனிஸ்ல எல்லாம் கான்செப்ட் நிறைய பேர் கொண்டு வருவாங்க, but it's not able to fulfill in all perspective, then we have to quit that project, right? Similarly, it is done in this stage, setting the final specifications. That's all over. First unit has been completed. Then only after quitting these points, yesterday's I have discussed how much uncertainty is there in the technical. Whatever I have discussed now only, they have explained in words. Any uncertainty found in the step 1 and 2. What is step 1 and 2? Technical model and cost model. Competitive success is dedicated by metrics around which an uncertainty remains. The team may wish to refine the technical and cost model in order to increase the confidence in meeting the specifications. So you have to improve the step 1 and step 2 process to compromise the customer, to say the customer needs are satisfied. So those things have to be focused well. Whether the team best concept to choose the target market. If the team has generated a concept that is dramatically superior to the competitive product, if you have a unique idea when compared to the competitive product, it may wish to consider employing the concept in more demanding and potentially more profitable market segment. So this is all way where you can find out the product becomes winner. Develop better technical models of the some aspects. Simple. All the steps, if you do perfectly, the concept is new, the unique. You have created a test model, technical model, cost model have framed. You have made the competitive map and explained to the customer and trade off it well. Appropriated this complex product to some value specifications. Then you can say the project will be in a successful manner. So it does not really understand the underlying product technology. Sometimes the team will discover that it does not really understand the underlying product technology well enough to create the useful performance models. So in such situations or circumstances, an engineering effort to develop better understanding. So whose role is this to develop this technical model? It is engineer's knowledge, and that's the point given here. And better understanding the customer need and model, cost model may be useful in subsequent development project. Have you got the point? So when you focus on these and put more effort, like engineering knowledge to develop the better understanding of customer need and modeling the cost model may be useful in subsequent development projects. So any project you start up, these are the things you have to keep in mind. You have to put effort for this area to set the final specification. I hope you don't have any doubts. Do you see this link when I post plan and establish product specification? Did we see? Say yes or no. Reply, students.
Yes, ma'am.
Replace? Yes, okay. Till this we have seen everything we this is normal. Okay, this we have seen. This is setting final specifications. Yes. Setting final specification, making trade-off. There are a lot of videos where each and every topic, whenever I'm covering daily, you can see a video clippings of your own. Okay, you just give the topic in the net, just have a link. Then இந்த டாபிக் கவர் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு ஐடியாவும் நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டோம். So because in any topic we are discussing daily, 100% we are not sure about it. So அதுக்கு வீடியோஸ்லாம் நீங்க பார்த்து வச்சுக்கோங்க. இது பார்க்கலாம். I'll share the link. Just wait. Let's see what they are discussing. Can I pass in the group? Say yes or no? Please reply.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Start along with me. Yes, Danush. Yes, Danush. Why did you click on raise hand option? Danush, can you hear me? Without knowing, Okay, follow. One minute. Asha, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Kindly note down the absentee's name. Okay, Jayasura is absent today. Will you do that?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Fine. Just wait. Understand subsystem specification, component specification. Again, further to develop that component, whether manufacturing specifications have to be mentioned. Then process specifications. Any doubts, students? Please reply. Dear students, please reply.
No, ma'am.
Okay, now we have got overall idea about how we have to focus on setting the final specification, right? Okay. So those who, okay, have noted the attendance, Harsha.
Yes, ma'am.
So with your kind cooperation, we have completed Unit 1 successfully. I'll just give the assignment during the leave time you complete. You take this 1 week but I need all the students to complete the assignments. Okay, I'll put the question in the group. For unit 1, part C question I will give. That is your assignment question for you. Okay. Any other doubts you have in today's session topic? Please reply. See, in the subject பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நிறைய தியரி ரிலேட்டட் கான்செப்ட்ஸ் தான், பட் கேன் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். ஓகே, நாட் தட் மச் டிஃபிகல்ட், பட் ஹேவ் டு கிவ் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இன் லிசனிங் தோஸ் கான்செப்ட். லிட்டில் ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் இஸ் நீடட். ப்ராப்ளம்ஸ்னா கூட நீங்க போட்டு பார்த்துடலாம், பட் தியரிலாம் நீங்க எழுதணும் இல்லையா? இன் எனி கேசஸ் ஓரளவு அந்த கொஸ்டின்ஸ்க்கு தகுந்த ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கணும் இல்லையா? அப்பதான் உங்களுக்கு ஃபுல் மார்க்ஸ் அப்படி கிடைக்கும். அதனால கொஞ்சம் ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் பண்ணுங்க இந்த சப்ஜெக்ட்டுக்கும். Thank you, students. You can leave the session. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you all.